Hello, hello, hello again. How are you today? Ready for some, where is it? Here. Some coffee talk? Well, here I am. Decaf. Just finished my sessions, so I was like, since I'm on a roll, let's just do this so then I can take a break, watch some Supergirl, and then continue my work because I am me and my team have worked for 3 months to launch a new product next month, and we're not gonna postpone that just because things are going on. More than ever, people need that product. It's about another pillar of business success. So I'm excited to work on that. Today we just finished the challenge. It's gonna be a free challenge, and then we're gonna have the introductory to the new course. So I'm really pumped up. I've like worked for hours today, and then I had sessions, and then here I am. So thank you so much for your questions. We have some amazing questions. I'm so happy when I talk about money. Like, money is my favorite subject to talk about. Like, I freaking love money because money is such a good energy. The moment you have more money, you can hire more people, you can pay for better services, you can donate more. Like, the best you can do in this world is to make a shitload of money so you can change the world with it. Like, I would not have been able to donate so much. Hello, Lacrima. Hello, Camelia. To donate so much and to hire so much and you know, we have massage therapists, we have a cleaner, we have so many other things that if I wouldn't have made money, I couldn't have afforded that. And you know, every single thing counts. So hire more people, make more money, change the world. Like, literally, if you make more money, you can choose who you want to give it to. You can choose what kind of food you want to have on your table, what kind of food you want the stores to serve you, because you have the power. Money gives you power. And yes, money does not change people. Money only enhances who you are. So if you're a dick, you're gonna be a bigger dick with money. So money in itself won't change who you are. If you're a nice person, you're gonna be a nice person with money. So that's the only difference. Money only enhances who you naturally are. So if somebody that you thought is a nice person and then they got money and they become mean, they were always mean. You just never saw it. Money just enhanced that character, that personality trait in them. So money in itself is a vehicle for change, for power, but most importantly for change. You can choose how your society will look like, how the food you eat is gonna be like, what kind of development in technology or in medicine you want to support. Like, literally, money changes the world. So I'm so thrilled to talk about it. And yes, I did cut my finger today. So I was like, what am I mad at myself about? And this is like the left side of the body. So it has to do with me and the feminine energy. So I was like, I should do some digging about that. So I will do later on today. Okay, so now let's go into the questions, because there are lots of questions. First one, what's an emergency fund? What it should contain and how can we save for one? Such a great question. How many people have an emergency fund right now? Raise your hand. Who here that's watching has an emergency fund, a savings account for emergencies? How many people? Say something. Give me a love, give me a like, give me something. Press on something to know how many people have an emergency fund saved up right now. I see nothing on my screen. Nada. Nothing. I'm gonna take a sip. Maybe it's a little bit of delay. Nothing. So here's a question. If nobody has an emergency fund, how can we protect ourselves when the emergencies come? And emergencies will come. So that's the thing. People sometimes, when, you know, their car breaks down, their washer doesn't function anymore, their whatever, something just breaks, they're like, why is this happening to me? I'm such a good person. I do all the good things. Why bad things are happening to me? That's not how we should look at it. It's normal for things to break because we can improve. We can buy better ones. It's normal for things not to function anymore. But it's not about how bad you are. Bad things don't happen to bad people. It's just that things happen. But you need to protect yourself. You need to have an emergency account for emergencies, for when your car breaks down, for when you need to buy a new washer, for when who knows what happens and you just need to solve it on the spot. You can have a credit card for that. I'm not saying, that would be like the first thing you could have. I'm not suggesting you should rely on that. So you can just get a credit card, let's say 1K, 2K on it, and never use it. Just keep it in case of emergencies. So you're not saving for it, you're just using the bank's money, and then you're going to have to pay it back and pay some sort of interest rate, because if you don't pay it back in a month full, then you're going to have to pay interest rate. But it's a great way to just have something fast if you need to pay something really fast. But the best way, and the one that takes up the most time and education, is saving every month. So Lacrima says credit card, yes, and it's been very helpful right now for emergencies. And yes, credit cards are great, and I have a credit card. My husband has a credit card. Actually, I pay everything with my credit card, and I pay it in full every month, and I get a lot of bonuses and things. That's why I use it. But I'm conscious. I'm very good with money. I don't suggest everybody do the same, because not everybody is like me. So I cannot say pay everything with your credit card, because you might not be able to pay it back in a month, and then you're going to have to pay a lot of interest rate. It's okay to save money, but not for an emergency, for your financial independence or happy days. So actually, you have to have 2 savings accounts. So I'm going to go into that in a second. So let's continue with this credit card. If you are financially smart, savvy, educated, then you can use your credit card to pay for everything and then pay it back in full at the end of the month. How I do it, like I pay my bills, I paid for food, I pay for literally everything that we use. Besides rent, everything goes on my credit card, which is a lot of money I have to pay every month. But I know that it goes only in one account, and then I get back 1-2% in cash. So 1 or 2%, depending on what I'm buying, I get back in cash. And if you spend more than $1,000 per month, well, it matters. It adds up. It adds up a lot, because how you spend when you get in money. Like honestly, I make a couple of $100s per year just by spending, bank's money instead of my own, instead of doing things. But this is because I've studied it. I've researched the best credit card. I've looked at how things work, and that's why I became good at it. Okay, so now going back to emergency fund. The smallest and biggest lesson in financial education is saving 10%. So you need to save 10% of every money that you receive. It can be out of a gift, it can be out of your own services, it can be out of your paycheck. I don't care. If you receive cash, put 10% aside. You can put it in an envelope aside, you can save it, for example, you can even automate it. So for example, we do it in our Revolut card. So of course we have business accounts that you can actually put it into savings, so that's not how it works. But our personal money, we sometimes put it in our Revolut account, and then Revolut takes every week, I think about $5, and puts it in our savings account. Automatically. I don't have to put it, I don't even see it, it just goes automatically in my savings account. Then it also rounds up my numbers. So every time I pay certain bills we pay with Revolut is just like, I have a whole thing at home that what we pay and why we pay this way. It rounds up. So let's say I have a bill for $12, it will pay $15 and $3 will put it in my savings account. And it does add up. I already have a couple of $100s only for this year saved up in my Revolut account, just because of the small transactions that I make. So there are ways you can save without suffering, without feeling like, oh my God, I don't have enough money. Yes, you will. If you learn to live on 90% off, you can live through anything. So that will be lesson number 1, save 10%. Now, your emergency account should be around 1-2K minimum. So depending on where you live, but usually 1K for, let's say, poorer countries where the bills are not that high, and 2K for like UK, US, where their bills are higher. So you need to have this in another account for emergencies, 1-2K saved up. So save 10% or more if you can, and then when you have this, just leave it there for emergency. You pay your emergency and then you go back to, stock that account again so you have it back. Now, for your savings, you should have another account for at least, ideally would be 6 months of living money. So calculate how much do you need per month, how much do you use per month, food, rent, everything. How much does your life cost you every single month? And try to save up 6 months of that. So in case anything happens, you know that 6 months, you don't have to freak out. You can find solutions, you can find opportunities because you have money saved up. Ideally would be a year or even more years. I had a client who had saved up 10 years. 10 years. If she wanted, she didn't have to work for 10 years. She was covered. That's how much money she saved up with her husband for their whole family. Like both of them could stop working for 10 years and they will still have money to survive 10 freaking years. So that's amazing. Everybody can do that, but you have to start small. Start with 10% of everything that you make. Like make that like the biggest rule that you have in your life. Saving 10%. You have no idea how much money you can actually save. Trust me, we've done this when we were poor and we've done this when we were wealthy. It all matters and it all adds up. 10%. So this is the thing. Let me just see a comment. I want to know more about how you spend your money. Well, I'm a very special case. A lot of people won't agree with my methods necessarily. That's why it's that they're my methods. I apply them on me. I spend a lot of money on self-development, on having my own coach, on therapy, on everything that has to do with wellness, exercise, like health, mental and physical health for me is like number one. Business is number one. Like we spend a lot of money in business development. I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I don't spend a lot of money on food. I have ways to always get cheap food. Like I'm very savvy. Like I buy when there's discounts. I'm like, that's how I was raised. You know, I had moments when I didn't have things to eat in my development. So I was always very like, what can I do with little money? How can I feed myself? How can I do certain things? I'm savvy with clothes. I didn't have money to buy clothes as I was growing up. So I always kind of found ways. And even now, like my dresser is I have a very small wardrobe. I donate 90% of it every season and I get new ones, but I don't buy a lot of things. So again, I spend a lot of money in certain areas that people won't spend anything in, and I spend very little in other areas like clothing, where other people spend thousands, I spend like 200. So it's just a matter of priorities. I don't say everybody should be like me. That's just how I like things. That's what I believe it's smart for me right now. As I made more money, I always increased my budget. So I increased the budget for food, I increased the budget for leisure activities. Like as we go a step further in our financial situation, we always like, now we can increase our budget for this thing. And that's how it works. I have a budget for food. Like for example, now our budget for food in Romania, where things are cheaper than US, for example, is about $200 per month for two people. Like that's kind of like 250 for two people per month. That's kind of what we need to eat. In US, that was about 500 to 600 when we lived in US, and we didn't buy the things I buy here. Like I didn't afford in US to buy the food that I'm buying here for little money. So it depends a lot on where you live. That's why you need to budget and make sure you're assessing that. What else? So yeah, I think you have more comments. I will try to answer this and then go back to your comments because I cannot see all the questions that come in. So yeah, that's how you should save. You should have two savings accounts. The savings account in case of you need to live off it, and in case you need to invest in. So the second account that you put all your money in is for future investments. Maybe you can invest in a property. Maybe you can invest in a business. Maybe you can buy something that will be worth a lot of money sometime. So that's why you're saving that money, for your own safety, but also for future investments. You just need to have a savings account. If you don't have one now, don't despair. You can start today, and that's it, because it will matter. It will matter if you start today, or if you be like, oh, but I make so little money. My 10% means nothing. I should wait until I make a lot of money and then 10% will mean something. That's bullshit. No, you need to start small. Start with what you have and train your mind to understand that that's okay. That is safe. I can do this. And then that's how you're going to continue to do it even when you have more money. Okay, next. How can you build a portfolio, and what shares should you invest in? So as I mentioned in the comments for Diana, I'm not a financial, let's say, investment financial advisor. So I don't work in that field, and I don't even invest our money. My husband invests our money, so I don't do that. First thing that I will suggest to everybody, don't invest money in crypto or in shares or in anything before you study the market for at least 6 months. So don't invest your own money just by whatever other people are saying, just by what you heard in the news, just by what you heard, I don't know, someone saying. Don't. Do your own research for 6 months, and then follow your gut, follow whatever you've learned, and do it. Then you're going to be at least some sort of responsibility you're going to have. Otherwise, you're just going to waste money. The second thing, never ever invest in stocks or crypto or whatever for a quick gain. If you invest with this mentality, I promise you, you will lose your money. Because every kind of investment, even if it's in the stock market or if it's in the cryptocurrency market, is meant for the long run. So when you invest, you need to invest with the mindset of, I'm okay of losing this money. I don't need this money in the next 5 years, at least 5 years, usually 10 years minimum. Then is when you're gonna notice that it was okay for you to invest your money. Otherwise, you might lose everything, and you might be like, it's not worth to invest. Yes, it is worth if you look at it long term. Because long term, what happens especially in stocks, because we can look at that in the last 100 years and see how it worked, the same thing. If you keep your money there for 20, 30 years, no matter what crisis, what recession might come in that period of 30 years, you will still make 8% of your investment at least. Because that's how money works. Money depreciates, money increases in value, money moves. So if you wait long enough, you will be profitable. If you don't wait long enough, if you are scared because you're watching the news and you're watching the media and you sell when it's low, then you're losing everything. Warren Buffett, the reason why he's the biggest guy in investing is not because he buys and sells every day. It's because he patiently waits and waits and waits. And that's how he made his fortune, on his patience, of course, and on his brilliance. But most of all, on his patience. So if you want to invest, you have to have patience, and don't use it to get rich overnight. That's not how investing works. And third, and this is what I coached one of my clients who had a hobby in investing in companies, and he did his research, so he was really good at it. And one day I asked him, I was like, okay, he was trying to save more money so he could invest more in certain stocks. And I said, okay, so in 1 year, how much money could you make on top of your investment if everything goes perfect, like the market doesn't crash, everything goes perfect? What would be your return? And he said, well, it's 2%. And I'm like, so if you put $1,000, you will make how much more? Really? That little? You will make like $20? Really? So I was like, what if you invest $1,000 in starting your own business? Would you make more in 1 year? And the answer is totally. So when you have to choose between starting a business or investing in shares and stocks, starting a business is always the right choice. Because if you want to make money fast, this is how you're going to make money fast, not in investing. So it matters a lot. What's the purpose for your money? What do you really want? Do you want to grow fast? Start a business. Put everything into your business, and I promise you will bring you more than 2% back. I can promise you. If you don't do that, then you're going to be safe, but you're not going to make much money. Especially that you're going to block money. Because if all your money you put in an investment that brings you only 2%, in case of an emergency, in case of something, you're actually going to lose more money. If you need to borrow some money, you're actually going to lose money by, paying some sort of interest rate to a bank. Because when you invest in certain shares that you receive 2% back and it's safe, you cannot take the money back in like 3 months. You have to leave the money there for a year, for 2 years, depending on the contract. So you might actually lose money because when emergency hits, you're gonna have to borrow money and you're gonna have to pay an interest rate, and it's not good. So you really have to think through it. And that's why in my group, when people you either get coaching with me privately or they join my groups where we talk about money, I coach them individually on their own needs, on what they really want, not just give general advice how I'm doing here. Now I'm just giving you the options, but you're going to have to do the work yourself. Well, when people work with me, I kind of do the work with them to make sure that they got it, like they know exactly what they need to do in their own, personalized way. So I hope this helped. Next, the difference between wants and needs. Another great question, wants and needs. So the basic rule of finances. Everybody should have 3 categories of how they spend their money. You have musts, you have wants, and you have savings. Everybody should have these 3. And there's rules on how to use it. The perfect rule is 50% you have must, so your must bills, your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, your food, your things. These are must things that you have to pay every single month. Then you have your want, which should be 30% of your income. Your want should be 30%, so you're going to have to calculate that. And then you have your savings, which in an ideal way should be 20% of your income. And now, based on this, there are different things you can do. And actually, I teach this exact lesson I teach in my course that I just offered you guys a huge discount, only $50 for the whole module. I teach you what to do based on what's your scenario, because I'm sure nobody's scenario is perfect. Nobody has 50, 30, 20. So you have to, I'm going to challenge everybody to do their own scenario to see, okay, how much am I spending for my must bills? How much am I spending for my wants? And look back at your spendings in February, in January, just to have a general idea how much you spend on your savings in this month, and then do the percentage. How much of your income was spent in these categories? And based on how big it is in certain categories, I have special advice for everybody. But now talking to you about what's the difference between wants and needs. Needs are things that you cannot survive without. Like literally you cannot survive without. If you have an apartment that you pay rent to, if you don't pay your rent, you're gonna be on the street. So you need to pay it. Wants are the things that usually make us happier, usually increase our well-being. It's just gives us more comfort. They're just nice things to have. You don't need them, but it's nice to have them. And they differ from person to person based on their own set of values and their own set of desires. Not everybody desires the same thing, and that's great because everybody can thrive. So it all matters on your priorities in every situation. So I always say to people, physical and mental health should be a priority. I'm not saying spend thousands of dollars each month, but make it a priority. Make it a priority. So buy the best available food you afford. And again, you can eat really healthy food on a small budget. It's possible. You don't have to be a perfectionist about it, because I'm not a perfectionist about it. I used to be, it didn't work out. I don't like myself being a perfectionist, but you still can do it. Mental health, so coaching, therapy, courses on self-development. This is important because with your mind, you control your whole reality. That's it. So if your mind is not in a healthy state, your whole reality, your job, your relationships, your money situation, they're not going to be either. So it doesn't matter if you, don't buy yourself a jacket if you don't invest here, because your jacket is not going to bring you more money. Your jacket is not going to bring you more fulfillment. It's just going to be a temporary fix for your problem. That's why people who shop without needing so many clothes, they shop because they need to fill a void. People who drink, they need to fill a void. People who take drugs, they need to fill a void. That's why they do it. They don't do it because they're super happy. They do it because they're not super happy and they need something. They need to feel something. They're probably so sad or depressed or anxious that they just need to feel something good for a couple of minutes, and that's their fix. And they need that. So good for them that they're getting that. But it's not going to solve the solution. So you need to invest in helping this to actually solve your solution. Massages, yes, they're super nice to have. Again, I stopped my massage too because right now we cannot meet with other people. But I cannot wait to go back into having a weekly massage thing. These are like, again, like mental and physical health priority. Your business, if you have a business, priority. Because if your business succeeds, then you're going to make more and more money. You know, me and my husband, for years, we didn't have fancy clothes or fancy cars. We still don't have a fancy car because we invested our money in here and in our business. That was always our priority. And in travel, I cannot complain. We travel a lot and in lots of places. So yes, travel for us is very important, but that's just because we love to travel a certain way. But that was it. And we were like, I don't care if people my age afford better cars than me, or if people my age, you know, afford clothes, new clothes every month. I know what I'm doing. It's not sacrifice, it's compromise. So I'm not suffering because I cannot afford a new thing every month. Yes, I would love to afford new clothes because I love clothes, but I'm thinking in the big scheme of things. If I now work on making more money, in a couple of years I can make the million. Why people who now spend so much money, they will never make a million, because they're never working towards that goal. They're just simply getting a paycheck, or they're simply just living check by check and spending all their money without saving, without investing, without working on their financial education. So I always saw it like that. And like, I'm compromising some comfort right now for the big scheme of things, and it paid off. It literally paid off. Like, it mattered, even if it wasn't easy at times. It was frustrating at times, but it did matter, because now I make more money than people my age. 5 years ago, I made 25% of people my age made. So they were so much richer than me. In 5 years, I make double or triple or even 5 times more money than they make now. So it does matter. Don't feel bad for not affording the things people your age or people in your close circles afford. Because if you have a dream and you're working towards that, you will get there. Just have patience and don't look back, and don't be like comparing yourself with them, because it doesn't matter. Always compare yourself with you, who you were last year, who you were 2 years ago. Have you changed? Have you made more money? Great. Keep on doing it, because at one point the money will not grow like one, like stairs, will be exponential growth. So you're not going to grow, let's just like, oh, I'm just going to make, 10% more each year, 20% more each year. No, you're going to grow like exponentially, 100% more, 500% more. That's how growth will happen for you. So just stay in the game, have patience, and focus on money-making activities. Focus on your business, mental, and physical health. Because if you have physical health, you have the energy. If you have the energy, then you have when you have energy into your body, then you process information faster and more information. If you can process more information, you're thinking more. When you're thinking more, you find more solutions and you're more inventive. So that's why we need mental and physical health. You need to exercise. So invest in exercising, whatever works for you. I don't mind investing in exercise because I know how much it helps me. It just helps. And now I'm stuck at home and I'm not the best one to exercise at home. I don't like it. I sabotage myself. I will do it now once a week or twice a week just because, I became a more mature person in the meantime. But I cannot wait to go to the gym. I cannot wait to go to my group. I cannot wait to meet my coach again, because he's the one who, for an hour, I don't have to think what I need to exercise. He's the expert. And for an hour, I can just do and feel safe because I know I have an expert in front of me who's helping me get better in my body. So these are the things I will totally, focus on. Of course, there are a lot of things that matter, like your space where you live and work does matter. I'm not saying invest a lot of money in it, but if you spend most of your day, make it pretty. You don't have to break the bank, but make it pretty. It does matter how you feel where you live. If where you live, you feel poor, then you're going to manifest less money. Because everywhere you look, you feel like you're stuck, you feel like you're poor, you feel like you don't have enough, and that will create more of it. So find small things to upgrade so you feel wealthy, so you feel successful, and that every single day you will manifest more of that. So it does matter. Of course, here's a huge topic to discuss. I hope I somehow answered your questions. I hope. Next, how to overpower bad habits, like the fear of spending, even if it's for a good cause that you've learned your entire life. And I've asked her to give me an example of a good cause so I can see what she's referring to. And she said, can be everything from paying for conferences, investing in an advisor coach, signing up for courses that seem out of reach financially, but could help you in the future. So how can we do this without feeling guilty? Well, I've spent lots of money in self-development, in courses, in hiring therapists, hiring coaches. So I can tell you how I've decided on what to buy. And for me, it was not about the money of how much it's worth, like how much does it cost. It was, if I take that knowledge and I apply it in my life or in my business, what could be the best scenario? Is it going to help me move forward? What will be the best scenario for me if I do that? And if I like the answer, then I will buy it. Most of the things that I bought, I didn't have the money for. Like, I never had money saved up to pay thousands of dollars in courses. I just paid them in installments, and I was like, hopefully next month I'll have the money to pay next. And I always did, because when it becomes a must, you find a way. You always find a way. That's why I always challenge my clients to upgrade their lives. Because when you upgrade your life, you always find a way to pay it. You go out there and make more money. You always do. So when you don't upgrade your life because you're afraid you're not going to have enough money, you're going to stay at the same level because you cannot let anything else grow. But when you're like, I'm going to upgrade my life 10%, 20%, and then you're going to find ways to make more money, 10% more, 20% more, 50% more, because you have increased your lifestyle. And now it becomes a must to pay it. So I always say increase your must, because this is how you're going to make more money. You're going to go out there and you're going to promote yourself and you're going to make more money. So you have to ask yourself, how is this going to help me exactly? Where can I see some testimonials? Where can I talk to this person that's selling this course? Do I trust her? What does my gut tell me? I always go with my gut. I teach people to go with their gut. I teach people how to connect to their intuition, not their mind. You have to realize your mind is a computer that you've put information in since the moment you were born. Your mind does not know the future. Your mind can only know the past, and it does connections based on the past, and the past, it's not always accurate. Sometimes we remember things that didn't happen the way we remember them. So the only, let's say, thing in our body that knows the future is our gut, is the spirit in us, is God in us, is our inner being. And that's like kind of in the solar plexus area. When you feel it in your gut, you feel like it's good or if it's bad. How do you know if it's good? Well, whenever you hear something or you want to do something, check in your body. Does it make you feel relaxed? Like, oh, that would be so good for me. Or does it make you feel like, I don't know, I'm scared, I don't know. It's like your whole body like just shrugs. Then it's a no. When your body is like, you know, like your shoulders go down, you feel like this is what I've been waiting for. Even if you're scared, like even if I always say the best decision to invest in anything is when you're scared but excited. If you're just excited, it means that whatever the thing you're investing is not big enough for you. It's not going to completely transform your life. If you're only scared, then it's too big for you. You have to start with something smaller. So whenever you make an investment in a course, in a coach, in the self-development of any kind, you have to be excited and a little bit scared. Excited and scared. That's like it means that you're investing in the right thing. So keep this in mind. I'm scared because what if it's not going to work? But I'm so excited because some part of me knows it kind of works. I only need to show up. That's the only thing. I need to show up, and I can be responsible for that. And I've always been responsible. Like every single course that I bought, or I maxed it out. Like I did all the lessons. I'm very diligent with that because I was like, if I'm going to spend so much money, well, I'm going to get my money worth back. So that's why I've grown so much in my business, because I applied everything. Not everybody's like that. And well, that's everybody's journey. I'm not going to judge anybody. Just I'm telling you how I am and why it worked for me. Next. How can you be a persevering person? How can you maintain this right state to form your habits? This is my biggest person for business and personal. How can you maintain the right state to form your habits? I don't quite understand this question, but how can you be persevering? Persevering, such an interesting word you've chose, to persevere. Persevere kind of made me makes me think of struggle. When you say I have to persevere, it means that I have to do something even if I don't want to. I have to do something even if it's hard. I have to do something even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes when we are in that state, it's very hard to create results. I'm going to tell you something that it's completely opposite of what you've probably heard, because the world has changed, and certain advice that was good 10-20 years ago for the older generation, not our generation, it worked. Now it doesn't work for us, because the generations have brought a new perspective on the world. Millennials, like our generations, have changed the game. We have different values and different things work for us. So if in the past it was known to, if it's hard and if it's uncomfortable, you should do it because it's gonna matter, it's gonna be a good thing. Now it doesn't work for us anymore. This hustle, we have to force ourselves, we have to push. It doesn't work anymore. Because if it did, we will all be doing it, but less and less people are doing it, because our value as this new generation is ease and flow. It's not hustle and working our life. We don't want to work to survive. We want to enjoy life and make money while we're enjoying life. That's what we want. That's how our generation has changed the game. It's a new blessing. Every single generation is bringing new things to the society, new things to the whole world. Our millennial generation has brought ease and flow. You can even watch, I think Tony Robbins once gave an interview and talked about the way he sees life compared to his son, and how he judged his son for always wanting things to be easy and fast. And he told him, my life was hard. I had to struggle to get to where I am. You should struggle too. And then his son explained that I don't want to struggle. I can choose not to struggle and still be as successful as you. And that just made Tony Robbins be like, he's kind of right. He doesn't have to struggle. He has a total different comfort right now that I had for 40 years ago. He has more possibilities now that I had 40 years ago. Now you can stream online, you can take payments online, you can start a business with literally zero money. 40 years ago, you couldn't have done this. It was hard. You had to hustle to get somewhere. Now, because again, we've asked for something easier and faster, we can start our business from our couch. We can make thousands of dollars by just having a phone and nothing else. So life has become easier. So I would not want to persevere. I would want to understand why I'm doing it. Why do I want to do certain things? And your question with how to maintain the right state to form your habits, I don't quite understand exactly what you mean by it, but what I'm hoping to get is, how can I have good habits every day? How can I not sabotage myself? That's how I'm getting it. Is by understanding that every day should not be a mirror of the yesterday. And this is actually something that Lakrima asked, and I answered her in another call in our mastermind group, because she needs, I need to get back into a routine, and this whole crisis and pandemics and everything is messing that up. And I'm like, that's the blessing of the situation, not having to have the same routine every day that we used to have. And right now, we're actually forced to change all our habits. We're forced to completely change the structure of our days, because every day is changing. You cannot go out, but yesterday you could go out. Now you cannot do this, but yesterday you could do this. And everything is changing. And now we have the freedom to analyze. What are the things that I want to keep? What are the things that I want to change? And most of all, why am I doing it? When I started my self-development journey, and I've learned, what are the exercises that help you stay in alignment and manifest everything that you want and all the mind control things, I was like, I need to do this every day, exactly how they say it. So the routine was spend an hour in the morning, 10 minutes reading, 10 minutes writing in your journal, 10 minutes visualizing, 10 minutes exercising, and 10 minutes, meditating. So these were and 10 minutes, I don't know, something else. It was an hour. So every single day, no matter what happens, I need to do this. If I don't do this, then I'm not going to manifest what I want. Then I'm not going to be that awesome person that I want to be. And of course, it worked for a short period of time, like everything. And then when I couldn't keep up with this, I felt so guilty. I felt like I'm the worst possible person. I'm not able to keep up with anything. I will never achieve anything in my life because look at me, I'm not able to even keep up with 1 hour routine. Like, how stupid am I? And later on, as I grew in my self-development journey, I realized that all these tools that we have, and every single month I develop a new tool for self-development. I develop new exercise that I share with my clients. Like, I get a new idea of how to do certain things. You don't have to keep all of them. That's why we have an abundance of tools, of positive habits, of good things, because we don't have to carry them all with us every day. We just have to choose which are the ones that we feel like doing right now. And that's the beauty. We don't have to do 5 things every day in order for us to be safe and make money and be successful. We can do 1 if we feel like doing that. If you do things from that energy of fear, if I don't do this exercise, this habit, whatever, then I'm gonna not be successful, then that's not gonna help you. It's not, because things need to come from plenitude. Things need to come from joy. Things need to come from abundance in order for them to work. You need to be excited to do it. For example, I haven't done my journaling, which is like the most important thing for me that centers me, in a week. And I actually told my husband this morning when we were having our coffee chat like I'm having with you. That's what I do with my husband every single day. We've been doing it for years. It helps us stay sane and coach ourselves. And I told him, I feel so guilty that I haven't been talking to myself in a week. And I know it will help me feel better and have clarity in my mind about my future, about what I want to create in this world and all these things. But I just didn't feel like doing it. And he was like, then why are you beating yourself up? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just used to beating myself up for everything. Every single mistake I make, I'm used to beating myself up for it. Like, you did a bad thing. You should learn from it. You should suffer now. And even punishment. I don't know about you, but I was always punished for everything that I made that was wrong. If I said the wrong thing, if I didn't say the thing that I knew I should have said, if I didn't dress a certain way, if I didn't act a certain way, it was always punished. So then, of course, as I grew up and I became an adult, I did the same thing on myself, because that was the education that I received, to always punish myself if I'm not perfect. If I don't do something right, then I need to suffer. So it goes like this. You either do something right, and then you are allowed to be happy and you are allowed to get results. Or if you don't do something perfectly, not good enough, perfectly, imagine the pressure, then the next step, you deserve to suffer. The next step, you deserve to not get anything, because it's all or nothing. There's no in between. And you should feel bad about what you did and learn from it, so next time it doesn't happen again. And this is why diseases appear. This is why pain in the body appears. This is why, because pain in the body is guilt, is punishment for all the things you're not good at, for all the things you're not perfect yet. That's why we get pain in our body. That's why we get all sorts of diseases. Of course, based on where they are located, they mean a certain thing. But the basic thing is this. Because we blame ourselves and we punish ourselves. We punish ourselves from joy. We're like, you don't deserve to watch I don't know what. You deserve to stay and suffer. You don't deserve to say sorry and talk to your best friend. You deserve to suffer just because, I don't know, whatever you did. So that's the thing. If we do things because we feel like doing them, and when we don't feel like doing them, accept that and not beat yourself up like, I'm a bad person because I don't do this habit every day. You are not. But you have to ask yourself, why am I not doing this habit? Am I not doing it because I'm sabotaging myself? Or am I not doing it because I simply don't feel like doing it and I'm happy and I would choose to do something else with my time? Always follow your bliss. Always follow your happiness, not your rules. Rules are just rules. They mean nothing. You are the boss of your life. So if you have a rule, I have to wake up every day at 9 a.m. and, I don't know, brush my teeth and get ready in 30 minutes, otherwise I'm a unproductive person, That's your rule that you have invented, and it might have helped 5 years ago, but now you're probably a different person who doesn't play by the rules anymore. Maybe now you can be like, if I'm not feeling good in my body, if for any reason I'm not happy, excited, optimistic, positive, feeling love, whatever positive emotion there is, then I'm going to ask myself, how can I get into that energy? And I'm going to do what I get, the answers to. So if the answer is like, go cook right now, I'm going to go and cook even if it's 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. and it's not the time to cook anything. Because if that's my inspiration to do something that will make me feel happy, I will go and do it. But that's the self-talk that we all need to embrace more. Not create rules, create more self-knowledge, create more intuition. That's what I want for everybody in this world, to have more, self-talks with themselves. Because God is in every one of you. God is in every one of us, and it's inside of you. You have to talk so as to know what's going on. What do I feel? What do I want? Why do I want that? Why don't I want to do that? What's stopping me? Is it sabotage? Is the fear of something? Or it's simply that I don't need to do it? For example, there are days when I feel like reading, and I read like a book in 2 days, and I'm like super pumped. Like all I think about is reading. And then there are months where I read nothing. From a perfectionist standpoint, that's bad. You should read every day for like 10 minutes or 5 pages or whatever. Only that will bring greatness. That's bullshit. That life doesn't work like that. Do what you feel and let that flow. So when I have like a reading moment, usually it happens a couple of times per year when I read a lot of books in a short period of time. But I don't do anything else. Like I'm so, I'm thirsty for knowledge. Like literally it's like that thirst. And I'm like, I wake up and I cannot even finish my coffee because I'm like, I need to read. I'm so excited. Of course, I'm not going to work on other things. That would be stupid. I'm going to do what makes me feel good. Alexandra said, and what if it's the fear? Well, if you're sabotaging yourself, you're not doing a habit because you're sabotaging yourself, then here's a long talk about, let's see, what's the sabotage about? What are you really afraid of? What does that say about it? Like, depending on what habit it is, then I can ask more, in-depth questions. I cannot just offer a very generalized advice here, but I would go deep to what does this say about me? What does this say about the situation? Why am I so afraid of it? As I said, every single fear has something behind it. For example, when a few years ago, somebody told me, Roswitha, you have a fear of success. And I was like, dude, do you know me? I've been successful at everything I've ever tried. I don't fear success. I want success. Success is like the only thing that I dream about every night. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. So I was like, fear of success. That's so stupid. I don't have that. And then last year, as I went deeper into layers of success and abundance and successful business and so on, I realized I have a huge fear of success. But fear of success is just a phrase. My fear was of being judged. My fear was that I will be so successful, and as you grow in success, you get more haters. That's just the normal truth. As you become more successful, your haters group grows. So I was like, I don't want that. Like, I literally don't want that. I'm so afraid of not being liked. I'm so afraid of people judging me for me. Like, I don't care if they judge my course, like just the course. But when they judge me for me, then that's like the worst case scenario. And I dig even deeper and deeper, and I realized, yeah, I'm afraid of success. I really am afraid of success. That's why I don't show up. Not because success in itself scares me, that excites me, but because what success will bring scares me. There are certain aspects of success that scare me, and that's why I'm not even gonna do my part, because the other things that will come with it scare the shit out of me. So I had to coach myself into be like, okay, if your worst fear comes true, what are you gonna do? What's the worst, what's the path of least resistance? To stay small and not reach your goals, or to go big and get some haters? Go big and disappoint a couple of people. Go big and lose certain people from your life. This is why, I've had so many friends disappear from my life every couple of years, because I've outgrown them. And at certain points, we were not on the same level anymore. We didn't have the same topics to talk about. We didn't have the same life experience anymore. And it was not like we got into a fight. It was just that we just simply had nothing in common. And I'm always looking for people to enlarge my life. I'm always looking for people that I can learn from. I'm like, who's smart? For example, I surround myself with people who are at least as smart as me, if not smarter. I always love to be surrounded by people who know more than me, because that's how I get to learn more, who have more experience in business than me, or at least like me, because I'm like, I need to know what they did, how they thought about this. I love making friends with people in complete different environments, like complete different business models. I'm so curious to see how they thought their business, how they got to the success in that industry. This is why I have friends from so many different industries, because I'm so curious. I'm a curious person, curious George, to know how people think. Like, I'm very passionate about psychology and how people react to things. And even in social gatherings, like, I cannot stop it. I always, notice people, how they react, how they talk, their body language, everything. And I immediately know their, psychological profile. Like, I cannot stop it. Sometimes I wish I could, because I would just work less. But that's what I do nonstop. I always look for, why do people do that? Why are they thinking that? How I can help them. And of course, I never give free advice anymore unless I'm asked, because it doesn't help anybody. Free advice or unsolicited advice doesn't help, and I would suggest you don't do it either, because it only creates more chaos and not helping anybody. So I know you guys have written more things. I haven't had time to see everything that you've written, but I will go through it now that I'm finishing this. I will go through it, and I will just either talk on it tomorrow or give you a short answer here. Thank you so much for being here with me. We have 12 people live. We have like 13 people live the whole time I was talking. I have no idea how long I was talking. Thank you. It means a lot that you're here. It means a lot that you're interacting with me. I deeply appreciate it. I hope I answered all your questions. If you have more questions about money, business, and mindset and manifesting, so I can talk about the difference between mindset and manifesting if you want, because there is a difference. I can talk about the difference between consulting and coaching and therapy. There are huge differences there too. There are just so many things I can talk about. Just let me know what you would want to know, and I will show up live and talk to you. So tomorrow I will show up live again, and then starting on Monday again. So I will have the weekend off to hopefully put these videos on IGTV and YouTube. That will be like my goal, but I haven't had time to do so. So thank you so much for being here. Again, leave me comments. And if you want, I put it in the description how you can work with me in April. These offers are in April. If you want more financial education, as I said, I'm offering the module Wealth, where I teach you. I'm going to put a picture here with the lessons in the module, so you know what you're getting at least, and you can ask me more questions about it. It's only $50 now. So, and in the month of April, it's only going to be $50. So you can totally get that. It's going to be all the lessons that I talk about in detail. How exactly do we manifest money? How exactly do we use the must, wants, savings things, and all how we invest our money? How do we know which is a priority and which is not a priority? And all these awesome good things. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Alexandra, for your comment. It really means a lot to me. And talk to you tomorrow.